Shalom, shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all the glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwarash. A double honors unto my apostles and others, a great millstone. Peace and safety to all the sincere Akim that's out here pushing this word in truth and in all sincerity. Shalom. And, you know, it's really early. It's not even 5 o'clock yet on the East Coast. But, you know, I was up. I kind of fell asleep real early yesterday. So I'm up, and I figured I'd use this time to do something spiritual, you know. And I figured I'd use this time to speak on this this movie that just came out. I want to say last Friday or last Thursday, last Friday. I think last Friday. And you know, hey man, you know, just speak on it, pull some scriptures. I just was on my laptop. I see some other brothers elsewhere been doing the same thing as well. I've watched several others as well, as far as going into it, you know. So, you know, if you haven't watched it by now, definitely recommend. It's not a, if you're looking for a movie with a bunch of action pack, you know, if you need Bruce Willis, you know, sliding off of the side of a skyscraper, you know, this might not be the movie for you. If you need, like, you know, Vin Diesel racing around the country in a Dodge Charger, you know, then this might not be a movie for you. I guess I'll start with that. One thing that I think that caused a lot of complaints or mixed reviews with the movie was the fact that you had a lot of dialogue. It was a lot of talking, and for me, that is a depiction of exactly what will happen in the times that are going to come. You know, I'm gonna read a scripture. All right, bear with me 1 second. There's a few scriptures in Amos, but we're gonna start with the first one, Amos 8:11, and it says, "The days come, behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but a hearing of the words of the Lord. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east, and shall run to and fro." So like, I'm in my car, my house is dead quiet. So I'm gonna, you know, hey, it's early, it's morning time, you know. And to seek the word of the Lord and shall not find it. And the reason why I bring this out, let's go to another precept in Amos. Let's go to Amos 5:18. "Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light." That's spiritual. "As if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on a wall, and a serpent bit him." And, you know, we can that scripture can I'm gonna break it down in a second, can be broken down in different ways. Okay, give me 1 second. Let's see something. This is NLT, same chapter, Amos 5 and 18. It says, "What sorrows await you who say, if only the day of the Lord were here? You have no idea what you are wishing for. The day will bring darkness and not light. In that day you will be like a man who runs from a lion only to meet a bear, escaping the bear, and he leans his hand against a wall in the house and is bitten by the snake. Yes, the day of the Lord will be darkness and hopeless, without a ray of joy or hope." That's heavy. So in that movie, I just pulled Amos 8 and 11, talking about the famine and searching for, answers and responses and whatnot. So like I said in the movie, some of the points I wanted to highlight, throw my 2 cents into this. The dialogue. The dialogue was extremely drawn out, because you got to remember, people are still people. All right. We are still in this flesh. We are still having a quote unquote human experience. And what comes with that is a lot of people are in, as Isaiah the 60th chapter goes into, gross darkness. So those individuals that don't have a clue about what's going on in the world, whether they be in Long Island, whether they be in New York City, whether they be in Philadelphia, Atlanta, whether they be in the country area, whether they be in fucking Bath, South Carolina, country ass town, whether they be in Colorado in the mountains, wherever they are in Babylon the Great, specifically, people are going to be looking for answers. And in that movie, when the guy GH, the guy that was the father, was speaking to the dude at the end, Kevin Bacon's character, and then in the car he was speaking to Ethan Hawke's character. He was breaking down the 3 stages of how to collapse a country from within, and one of those was, which we're speaking about, a form of not having answers is isolation. Isolation, the extreme form of isolation is going to be the blackouts, the concentration camps, being hauled off. Those are the extreme forms of isolation. Quarantine, however you want to look at it, right? Martial law, that's an extreme form of isolation. But when you are isolated from the communications, that's going to drive you crazier, looking for and seeking for a answer. I give you an example. All right. 2 nights ago, here in my region of Atlanta, or through the South for that matter, there was a storm that came through, a tornado storm that came through, and a lot of people are still without power right now. So me and my household, we lost power for a good bit of the night. And it wasn't so much that We had internet, we had phone, we didn't have electricity, so we didn't have it. I mean, I had internet on the phone service, not home internet, of course. And the reason why I say that is, I'm so used to getting notifications of what's going on. Like I have Ring, so I get Ring notifications when a nigga have a fox in his back, when a person got a fox in their backyard. Like, oh my God, there's a fox located off of such and such, such and such. What should I do? Bullshit. But in this case, there were no responses. There were nothing. There was no, the power lines over here. There was no, sharing of information in that regard. So fast forward, we had ended up ordering some food prior to that happening. And the lady that brought my food, I'm saying this, the lady that brought my food, she was like, hey, our power's out. And I was like, yeah. She was like, yeah, I was driving down the street and a lot of trees are down and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, hey, you know what? Thank you. She just informed me of that this problem was a power, something fell on the power line. And any other day, if there was nothing, that lady would have brought my plate and there would have been no conversation. But in this regard, in this situation, it caused two people that probably would never talk to each other to talk. And what can you imagine? Can you imagine when there's a national emergency, not a county emergency, not a city emergency, right? I'm talking about something that affects us all from coast to coast. We're going to be, as in the scriptures say, we just read in Amos, it shall be darkness and not light, even very dark. Now, there's two ways you could take this. You could take this as, which is the spiritual aspect. It's going to be, spiritually, it's going to be very dark. It's going to be very no joy, as the scriptures say. But then on the physical side, as we see this devil, the so-called elite, they're putting in predictive programming the people to accept the idea, or the fact, I should say, that there's going to be blackouts. I spoke in a lesson a few days ago, I did, but Sri Lanka was having a nationwide blackout, darkness. Nigeria had one a few months ago. UK is warning, the prime minister or whatever their leader calls himself is warning the people over there to get candles, flashlights, things of that nature to prepare yourself for the possibility of a lack of electricity. So that's darkness in itself too. And what joy is found in being in you didn't want that darkness. It's one thing, you about to go to bed, you cut your TV off, cut your lights off. You might have a little night light area, type joint, but when it's thrown on you, there's no joy in that, right? So the dialogue parts for me were spiritual because everybody is going to be talking. See, these movies, they love to jump the gun. That's why I said this is not a, if you're looking to see stabbings and, you want to see grape and cannibalism and, there's other movies for that. And this movie is touching on the mental aspects of it, right? The fact that, and I heard a brother say, or maybe not a brother, it could have been a brother. I've been talking to several brothers about it. We were talking about the fact, yeah, brother. I was watching the brother Yeshaya video down in West Palm, because he did a review on this as well. And he was speaking about how when the shit hits the fan, you're going to start seeing a lot of people throw their predetermined prejudices out of the window. Like in the movie, the so-called black side and the white side. Both sides not very much so trusting each other, but having to create a union in that day for the sake of survival is to show you how serious surviving is. A lot of people are extremely racist, extremely leery of the other side. But I tell you what, if there was a flood, a big major flooding in your city, I'm just speaking in general here, and you are a black person that doesn't like white people, or a white person that doesn't like black people, and they come by in a boat and extend their arm to you, you're going to throw away those preconceived thoughts, because your survival is more important than your philosophy in that moment, right? In most people's minds, right? So that's why I said this movie, the dialogue was extremely spiritual in my opinion, of course. I don't think it's an opinion, but just saying that in the senses of speaking on the movie, because you got to remember, let's get another precept. In their pocket. Forgive me one second. Boom, 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 boom. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and give me one second. Second Ezra 16 and 27. And it says, so that one man desired to see another and to hear his voice. Why? Why would somebody greatly desire to hear another person's voice? Because of the isolation. Isolation is going to be used as a weapon in these times to come. We are already being isolated if you can see what's going on. We are already being programmed. And when I say we, I'm speaking as the body of citizens, all right? Americans, people in America, right? But through the spirit, that's what's so heavy about the brotherhood in the Lord has given us, because we are actually getting closer. We're not being isolated. We're actually drawing closer to one another in the spirit. So I'm speaking in the senses of this place. And this place, as the scriptures say through prophecy, that so that a man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. Why? Because you're going to want answers. You're going to want answers. You're going to know if that's a good way to go. You're going to know if you've heard anything. You're going to know what's going on depending on your level of understanding of what's going on. That's why we hear the men of the Lord, starting with our apostles and elders, and even, the different camps around the country that are in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai according to the true doctrine. I'm not saying it's a lot of BS out here, right? Have been warning the people of what's to come, and beyond warning the people, giving you answers. Okay? That's the job of the prophets. All right? Let's get another scripture real quick. And go to Ezekiel 33 and 1, and it says, and again the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him for their watchman, if when he sees the sword coming to the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people, then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. And that's what we're here to do. The Lord has set us as watchmen, right? To give, blow the trumpet. Now, this is all spiritual here. We're not literally taking wind instruments and blowing an actual trumpet. The trumpet here is sounding the alarm to the people that a sword is coming. And how do we warn the people? Doing these lessons, going on the highways and the hedges, specifically going into biblical prophecy, warning the people that that a sword is coming from the Lord through these people. All right. So that's what this movie was. This movie was a visual to the people as a warning. Like I said, this wasn't a movie. This was a 2-hour. This was a 2-hour preview of what's to come sooner than later. All right. So again, part of that sword that I'm focusing in on this right now in the spirit is the isolation and the darkness, you know, being away from people. Scriptures speak about people. You shall, matter of fact, the scriptures, the movie touched on this too. Hear me 1 second. Hear me 1 second. What the scriptures speak about in the Apocrypha and Second Ezra about desiring to, I can't find it for some odd reason, but desiring to enter into a city and shall not be able to. I'm pretty sure it was a few verses up or down from where I just read, but it's all good. So that's isolation. All right. See, some things are not just like, even with the scriptures, this is where a lot of our people get tripped up with the scriptures. And that's why the scriptures, as the Lord said, are dark sayings and parables. You know, again, to truly, genuinely understand the scriptures, you got to be a thinker. You know, you have to be a thinker to be able to see these scriptures, see these in a visual world, in a you see it, right? Blessed are your eyes. A lot of, and you know, when I look at the different reviews, you know, going on TikTok and people who spoke, you know, against the movie or for the movie, it was actually all expected. I never, you know, it was very expected from who you would expect to be not see the movie for what it's supposed to be, and those that saw the movie that didn't, or vice versa. You know what I mean? A lot of Jake were the main ones complaining. A lot of, you know, baseball cap wearing niggas, you know, because our people are about cheap thrills, cheap comedy, you know, cheap action, cheap everything, you know, because everything is entertainment to our people, versus the fact that these elites are not, this was not a movie to entertain you per se. All right. Was it something to enjoy in the senses of a movie? But there was a lot of gems that that are in this movie that are still being brought out. There's a QR code that was found in the blackout, the cyber attack blackout picture. And when you scan that QR code, it takes you to a Native American Indian burial ground. There's a lot of little things in this movie that, you know, it was no accidents on placements. You know, everything is a stage, right? Everything is a stage. So understand that if they wanted that person to wear that Obey shirt, and that person to wear a NASA shirt, and this person to be here, and this person to, that was all part of the cinematography. There's no mistakes in movies. All right. We didn't catch nothing that wasn't supposed to be caught. Okay. So again, isolation is a part of the sword. Okay. Remember the cars. That's why I was trying to pull the scripture, but they had all the Teslas, which they show you that they could basically possibly, but basically showing that it's a possibility that they could hack these cars, these electrical cars, which America is the only country in the world, when you think about that is pushing forward to expanding electric vehicle ownership in this country. And I always thought it was just from a simple fact of when the electricity is out, you know, how you going to charge your car, you know, crippling the people in that way. But what if there are millions of these cars, hundreds of thousands of these cars in cities, in states that could block up roads? Like, we be thinking that, see, that's why I say we are simple, you know. Yes, I as well, you know, we can be very simple as human beings. We have been dumbed down by this devil. You know, the average attention span of a human being is that of a goldfish. And Esau, the so-called white man, and his elite knows that, right? So these little things, our minds, out of fear, I must say, creates these chaotic, outrageous, outlandish experiences in our head out of fear of, oh, you know, they're going, and this could happen. Because you're thinking from a Michael Bay, Steven Spielberg, you know, way of viewpoint versus, you know, there's some people that aren't going to deal with militias of gunfire and shots and this, that, and the third. Or, you know, everybody's going to be dealing with so many different aspects of judgment. That's why it's called Jacob's trouble. But even so, even though it's Jacob's trouble, like we always like to say, it's Esau's trouble, it's Elam's trouble, it's Ishmael's trouble. All you other nations are going to experience a higher level of trouble as well in these times to come, because you are an enemy. All right. I don't know what the hell, my phone. All right. So let's change it a little bit. Another point that I thought was extremely worth speaking on in the spiritual aspect was when you look at that movie, from the beginning of that movie, it was already going down, right? When you watch that movie, the lady just woke up on a whim, like the spirit moved her to just, you know, hey man, you know what, I'm getting out of the city. Life is short. I booked this Airbnb and boom, let's go. So they had a little bit of money, right? Because how many people right now in America could just drop everything, pack the car up, get this really nice Airbnb that's going to cost us several thousands of dollars for the weekend, and go out to the countryside? They went to Long Island, or not necessarily Long Island, but I'm sorry, they were in Long Island. They didn't go to the Hamptons. The Hamptons is, if you're familiar with Long Island, is damn near at the tip of Long Island. It's on the other end. So it was close to the Hamptons, which was on the outskirts of the city. The GH, you know, the black guy, he evidently had money. He was very closely tied to these different individuals. He said he if you in the business world, and you know, I'm just speculating, I could be wrong, but you know, he was talking at a table and he was speaking about his friend, and his friend was if I said his name, you would know him. And he was joking about the evil cabal and this, that, and the third. that wasn't, in my opinion, a cheap shot at just saying the Illuminati, right? Or you get what I'm saying? The reason why I believe that through the spirit is, number one, let's get this. I'm gonna look for something. Bear me 1 second. Like, what's that devil's name? Let's see. This just came out the other day. I'm gonna change my camera. Okay. Warren Buffett selling 28.7 billion in stocks rings alarm bell over economy. Okay. Now, in the movie, they didn't. It could have been, it could have been a bunch of people, right? But I'm just using this guy as an example because just a few days after this movie came out, you have somebody who's well known in the business world, but not in the entertainment world, moving a lot of money. And it could be not just any a person, but that person in that movie could represent a lot of different individuals, a lot of different men, you know, your Warren Buffetts of the world, you know, and so many others that when you see them doing things, it could be, what the hell? He also spoke about the cabal. And one thing that you have to recognize with them, the cabal and the elite, is they deal with a concept of karmic debt. And they believe that they are free of karmic debt by having to tell you of what's to come before it comes, which is a form of them being false prophets, right? But they got to tell you what's to come because, see, either A, you're going to do one of two things. You're going to be against it, or you're going to be for it or against it. And that's what relieves them in their mind of being responsible for what's happening, right? Hey, we told you that there's such and such in the food, but niggas are still eating, you know, Burger King, McDonald's, and things of that nature. So, you know, that's on you if you get sick, or, hey, we kind of told you that this was going to happen with the jump shot, but hey, if you took it, we're not responsible. That's on you. You take personal responsibility. That's what they do. So again, this movie, it highlighted a lot of different elements that would be happening to even the richer people. Because, see, most people aren't going to be in the scenario of, and I think that that's why a lot of people, if you go and see reviews and they speak against it, because in their mind, they see the world just from a impoverished state of it's only going to affect the poor. When the scriptures say that he causes both rich and poor to receive a mark. So you're going to do anything to reattach yourself to what you felt was a comfort zone because that's what you're used to, rich or poor. So I love the aspect of the rich, of the wealthy being shown, because most people aren't even going to be in a scenario like that. Most people aren't living in a situation where they are miles away from their neighbors. They are in a home with a massive swimming pool that you could literally, in my opinion, you know, a lot of these rich people, they're doing sea salt pools, and you could drink that water damn near. You know, you could filter it out, and that's water damn near. You know, a lot of these pools aren't chlorine water anymore. You know, a lot of these houses have generators, they have food, they had a lot of stuff, but in that time it didn't matter. So what more a person that's stuck in a city with 8 million people? That's why I didn't even need to touch on what was going on in actual New York City, man. You know, your mind should let you know that if it was bad there in an exclusive rich area, can you imagine what it looked like in the Bronx or Brooklyn? You know, the cities are going to be turned inside out. There's no question in there, you know. So let's like I say, get a few more scriptures, and we're going to, I'm gonna close up here, you know. But like I said, I thought it's definitely a watch. Definitely going to give you a lot of gems. Definitely going to see a lot of things that are going to leave you pondering upon the possibilities of these events occurring in the sequence. Because you got to remember, part 2 of the 3 stages was um, um, synchronized chaos, and that is them bringing about terrors on the earth to shake you up, right? But let's get a scripture. Let's get a few more scriptures. I want to get Ecclesiastes 7:2. It says, "It is better to go in the house of mourning than to go into the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to heart. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance the heart is made better. The heart of a wise man is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth." And that movie showed you how if you are spiritual, that right now it's better to be in the house of mourning, because we're in bad times. We're in ill times, evil times, and these, for us, if you're in the truth, the bad times are going to bring a sense of joy to let you know that we're like, all right, man, the prophecies are progressing forward aggressively. Let's go. We're going to be out of here soon. We just got to hold fast, versus these people that are in the house of mirth. It's all about the fun. It's all about the, and you know what? A lot of people would, like I said, at this point, if you haven't seen it, go see it. What I'm speaking on is not going to bother. It's like I said, it's a great movie. But as far as the character Rose, the little girl, a lot of people were pissed off at her and the ending with her and watching the show Friends, and again, if you're just watching this you're not recognizing the story within the story within the story, the spiritual side of things, the carnal side of things, you're gonna, oh, this is bullshit. You're just gonna scoff. That's what people do when they hear the scriptures and they don't understand. Because they don't understand, they begin to scoff at the fact of the idea of other people understanding, right? So when you think about that girl Rose, she was already, before they got to where they was going, she was the first one to experience everything. Everything that was spiritual in that movie, from her tablet was the first one to go out, the internet. I think she was one of the first people to see the boat. She was the first people to see the deers. She was, you never really saw her rattled. Everybody else was rattled, but she wasn't. So she had already accepted the reality of where they were and wasn't trying to be coddled by her mother and her father. So she took things into her own hands, which is what we did when we found this word, which is us placing ourselves through the spirit in the house of mourning. See, like I say, in the house of mourning, That's where you already prepare your mind for the evils to come. You're not concerned with the mirthful things. Everybody else was still mirthful. You know, the oldest son, the son was, still, he was the simplest. You know, the father was the second simplest, the white father, Ethan Hawke's character. The women, everybody was simple in their approaches to what was going on. Even HGH, who had somewhat of an insider scoop on what was going on, was extremely simple at his approach at what was going on until the very end, where he realized, yeah, nah, this isn't something to play with. I thought this was something else. I hoped I was being hard-necked to it because I didn't want to accept it, and then he had to accept it. Okay? So again, being in the house of sorrows prepares your mind for the sorrows that are going to be brought upon this earth. Let's go to Isaiah 24. Isaiah 24 and 6, I'm going to start. And it says, therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and a few men are left. The new wine mourneth, the wine languisheth, all the merry heart do sigh. Right? Because see, we're the ones in the house of mourning right now. Everybody else is in the house of mirth, partying, looking forward to, cruises and vacations and day parties in the spring and summer and, the whole nine. And that new wine philosophy, that's the philosophy of America. Do what thou wilt, have fun, you name it. Those are the thought processes of Babylon the Great. And that's mourning. They're going to be mourning in the times to come, because they're going to be as the representation of rose to a certain extent, looking for their entertainment. They're going to want to be on their phones. They're going to want to watch TV, their tablets. They're going to want to play games. You name it. A lot of people aren't going to be able to release these crutches that are on them. Right? And it says, the noise of them that rejoice endeth. Because when that isolation occurs, only but a small groups are going to be rejoicing. The prophets, to be exact. The servants of the Lord, the men, women, and children the Lord have his hands on to be saved, shall be in a rejoicing spirit. But this world is not going to rejoice, because what is it? If your heart is still in tune with this place, right? You're not going to be able to rejoice. Scriptures say, remember Lot's wife. Well, just as much as we speak on that to use that to talk about our individual wives, Lot's wife, our wives, looking back on the world, a lot of men are going to fall in the lot of Lot's wife. You're going to, man, I used to be able to go, man. You're going to be attached, and that's going to be to your demise. Verse 9 or 8, excuse me. The mirth of tabrets cease. The noise of them that rejoice endeth, and the joy of the harp ceaseth. They shall not drink wine with the song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. And the movie, the guy had an amazing bar, amazing liquor. They had wine and cocktails. But like, there's a drinking. There's different type of drinking. If you understand, if you're a drinker, or you've been, you're of a certain age and you've been drinking over your life, you've had drinks at parties, yeah, give me a drink of that cranberry vodka, yeah, boom, music and all that, you dancing, you having one. That's one way of drinking. Then there's drinking with your significant other, just having some drinks, having a good old time, And there's drinking with your buddies. You know, y'all might be sitting around talking shit, you know, passing a bottle around and cracking up. Then there's the, you know, some sad shit happen. You're mourning and you're drinking. And then there's in that movie, even the drinking in that movie. You know, when you look at Julia Roberts, Amanda's character, her drinking changed. If you watch closely, when she first got there, it calms your nerves down a little bit. You know, I need a cold one. You know, somebody going through something, you take a shot. You try to, you know, what did Mobb Deep song say years ago? You know, drink away the pain. And then at the, you know, you see near the end where she was at the pool with the daughter, it was a frantic drinking. So again, in the scriptures, it's telling you strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it, because it's not going to serve you in the way that you're looking for it to serve you. It's not going to serve you in that way. So again, all of these things goes into, I guess the key point I guess the Spirit got me focusing on this is the isolation and what it's going to do to a lot of people. It's going to let people whose minds are going to race in ways that it normally wouldn't, and maybe it shouldn't, right? Because it's just straight out stress. Let's get another scripture real quick. I'm gonna finish this Isaiah, but I want to get a scripture. I believe that's 2 Corinthians. Bear me 1 second. Yep, 2 Corinthians 2. What did I say? I was in the right chapter. It's like I always do that. Is that it? Yep. 2 Corinthians 5:11. And it says, knowing therefore the terror of the Lord, we persuade men, but we are made manifest unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, and I trust also, and are made manifest in your conscience. So people say that we're fear mongering, but the Bible is filled of nothing but lamentations, woes, and fears. Because fear is going to keep you in check. Fear is, you know, a treasure. Fear is what is us fearing Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai is pleasing unto him, because he understands that we don't put anything before him. We don't fear these devils. We don't fear the things that are coming. We fear the Lord not being with us, or the fear the Lord being against us, I should say. Both of them, really. Right? So, did I close out my window? Nope. So back in Isaiah 24:10, the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. And that was Kevin Bacon's character. He was locked in. He got his water, his supplies, and he was just waiting it out, because the city of confusion is broken down. And these movies show you how easy it is. That movie showed you at any second, any moment of time, this place could be broken down in a heartbeat. It's being broken down as Elder Malcolm was saying in his review of this, or speaking on this video, you know, I don't want to just, you know, minimize it. It was a spiritual review. Let me say that. Cause that's what this is. This is a spiritual review. This is not breaking down naturally. So, but nevertheless, the city of Babylon, the city of confusion, is broken down. It's being broken down, right? That's why I said, you know, it happened fast. Really, from the time you cut the credits on, it's already going down, and they show you that by Julia Roberts' character, Amanda, looking out the window, talking to her husband. clay, and you hear the sirens, right? Symbolizing something is happening, because in most cases your civil workers, your army, military, the EMS, your doctors, you know, your mayors, your city council, a lot of them in most cases are going to know about things before you as a citizen, because why? They have so many things that are given to them to a shalom, that allows them to see things. They can read meters, they can see, they get notifications that we probably don't get. You get? So this place is going to break. That movie was showing you how it was broken down from the beginning, right? So, and it says every house is shut up that no man may come in. And that's what happened. If you were in a house or in a space, you were locked in. They were locked in their house. Remember the family, if you watched it, they said, no, we're leaving, we're going to our people's house in New Jersey. No, we're gone, it's the best for us. And they left, and that's when they ended up on the highway. And what did they end up doing? Having to return right back to the house. You know, Kevin Bacon's character told them to get off of his property, to go right back to their house, to get shut back in. And that's what will occur. All right, reading on. It says, there is a cry for wine in the streets. What is that wine? That's going back to the dialogue that I was speaking of earlier, of the fact that there's a cry for wine in the streets. People are going to be looking for answers. See, everybody, just because everybody is so isolated right now, and you know, you don't talk to your neighbors and your neighbors don't talk to you, and you go in the grocery store and nobody holds small conversations, you get in an Uber, nobody talks. We're so used to this weirdo lack of communication, lack of talking world, that it even, you know, even amongst us, you know, nah, I ain't talking to these people. I ain't damn nigga woman, damn heathen, damn nigga, I ain't talking. You just always in your own shell. But the scriptures are saying there's a cry for wine in the streets. Let's look that up. It's 24:11. Let's see what it says in the NLT. Isaiah 24. Oh, listen to this. Isaiah 24:11 in the NLT. And I'm gonna read this again in the NLT. This is Isaiah 24 and 8. And it says, the cheerful sound of tambourines is stilled. The happy cries of celebrations are heard no more. The melodious chords of the harp are silenced. Gone are the joy of wine and song. Alcoholic drinks turn bitter in the mouth. Right? Because see, there's a drinking where, hey man, let's give a toast, man. I propose a toast, man, to this brother over here. You know, celebrations, right? You hear the ching, 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 salute, right? But when you got to drink to the idea of all your family is dead, the life that you knew is gone, you can't drink away that pain. All right. Verse 10, the city wreaths and chaos. Every home is locked to keep out intruders. This is a bad scripture. I like this translation. Verse 11, you know, about being in the streets. Listen to this. Mobs gather in the streets crying out for wine. Now we know that wine represents philosophy, understanding. So it's saying mobs gather in the streets crying out for wine. That's why I said a lot of people was annoyed by the dialogue, but the dialogue was symbolism to just simply looking for answers. You got you like I said, you think you as like even you as a man of the Lord, a prophet, Lord willing that the Lord have mercy on all of us and keeps us, right? But you think that the Lord just gonna add, the scriptures say that they shall take hold of he that is a Jew by the skirt of his, basically by the skirt of he is a Jew. Like basically wherever you go, I'm going. And you think people just gonna follow you and not have questions, not have concerns, or you just go, hey, pipe down. And you just gonna be in your weirdo, sitting in a corner, quiet space? The times that are coming, you might be the only one that's talking because you are the only one that have answers. Hey, well, what's this? What's that? What's over here? Why is this happening? Who is this happening to? What should we do? Where should we go? These are just who, what, when, why, where type questions that I'm just using. But then you're going to imagine people upon people having questions. A wife asking a husband a question, and that husband coming to you asking you a question. The husband having his own questions. Like in that movie, they showed you that Clay, Ethan Hawke's character, he ain't have no answers. That's why at the end he said, what? I'm a useless man. I'm no good without my phone and GPS. So it's saying here that mobs gather in the street crying out for wine. That's not talking about looking for a glass of Chardonnay in the streets. Hey, thousands of people. Where the Chardonnay at? Where the Bel Air wine at? Where the champagne at? No. That's speaking to crying out for answers, crying out for understanding. And shalom to everybody tuning in, right? So people, the first step, day one, I don't give a fuck where you live at, in your apartment building, your neighborhood, I promise you, we are all going to have to deal with this in some way. If shit hits the fan, you're going to have to go into your own yard. Depending on your scenario, I'm just throwing a scenario. In most cases, I believe this will happen. I can see myself going outside my yard and all the neighbors, probably the men or whoever that's in these houses coming out. Hey, what's going on? You okay over there? Yeah. You're going to have a dialogue. All right. If you think that you're just going to be this is, not talking to people, not engaging with people, you're in for a very rude awakening. We all have our own social awkwardnesses, social issues in regards of talking to people behind the way this world is. But in that moment and in that day, people are going to seek you out. They show you at in these movies. Hey, yeah, I got a guy. He's really big. He's always, always conspiracy and this, that, and the third. Let's go down there. He's down the corner. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, man? You know anything? What's going on? Because before you make a move, you got to have answers, right? Nah, you can't go. Don't go west. There's plenty of police that way. I just came from that way. It's a lot. Don't go that way. It's a lot of police, army, they're grabbing up people. I just got from there. Okay. We can't go west. You might be going north. Somebody might come you. Hey, you got to turn and go that way because we just came from that way. And there's a lot of destruction and devastation that way. You can't go. That's a big fire that way. Oh, we tried to go this way towards the river or water. Hey, you can't go that way. There's this idea of just straight out chaos and violence. And even in that's a level of predictive programming or trying to spook the people into not being in a space of actually working together. Now, I'm not saying that in this time to come, everybody just going to be all kumbaya and working together. I'm not saying that. Like, don't be simple either. But in the spirit of what the hell is going on in the world, you're going to have people that are going to be on some violent, crazy Negan from Walking Dead spirit. But then you're going to have people that are just trying to survive and they're going to just want simple, quick answers. You know, don't go that way. Come over here. Get over there. Sit, get down. This is all talking. All right. So it says mobs gather in the streets crying out for wine. Joy has turned to gloom. Gladliness has been banished from the land. The city is left in ruins, its gates battered down. And this scripture, okay, so the scriptures here is saying the city is left in ruin and its gates are battered down. The scriptures also let us know that this is the land of unwalled villages. America represents part of that unwalled village, right? And in that movie, they show you it's if they didn't really go into it with the barge, the ship at the beginning, the oil barge, you know, with the white lion on it, which, you know, it was a lot of depictions of that was the first slave ship to come to America, that element. But what did Esau bring when he came over here in 1619 to the land, to the Gadites? See, everybody loves to speak on the American Civil War as the Union versus the South as a civil war. Esau coming over here and fighting the Native Americans was a civil war, right? That was part of that was a civil war as well. So that boat coming in was a representation of civil war, civil unrest, the coup d'etat, or however you say that, coming in the land. And they didn't touch on it, but I'll speculate and say, what if there were thousands of soldiers on those boats just waiting? They were given the plan of like, nope, sit here 3 days. After 3 days, you can go out and then go ransack this place. See? So again, the city, it says right here, what? The gates are battered down. Gates represent, when you have a fence or a gate is a thing of keeping something in and keeping something out. You know, this is the line of, you are trespassing on my property. So the gates of America are going to be battered down in these times to come. That's what that was speaking on. That boat being able to hit the water, the isolation, everything, the confusion of who did it, all of these things are showing that the life of America. And you know what, I'm gonna say that and I'm gonna close up here because it's getting early. Oh, it's getting later in the early. The girl Rose's obsession with Friends. Think about that show Friends. Which, hey, if it's that serious to you, just go look up what was the last episode of Friends, right? Which in the last episode of Friends, it was basically, I want to say the guy that just died that was on Friends, him and his character got the hell out of the city of New York. They left. It was the end of the show. One of the girls, Jennifer Aniston's character, was on a plane, and it was like plane panic. But the point of the show I wanted to speak on is what people, I guess, weren't realizing. Friends. What is the theme song to that? Let's look it up real quick. Let's get the lyrics, maybe. Friends lyrics. Listen to the song and what it's, I'm not gonna play the song. Oh. Hold on. So the first part of the song. So no one told you your life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke. You're broke. Your love life's DOA, dead on arrival. It's like you're always stuck in second gear. Does this not sound like how the average existence of humans in America is right now? Well, it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, even your year. 2023 has been a doozy for people. These are the lyrics to the intro to Friends. So I'm making a point with the song and what they're trying to tell you through the song as well. But I'll be there for you when the rain starts to pour. I'll be there for you like I've been there before. I'll be there for you because you're there for me. Right? I'm just not going to read the whole thing, which I mean, I might do a lesson just on this. Because see, Friends is like one of the top shows of Friends. Like the woman said in the show, the girl, the young Jake girl. Now, there's a point even within the Friends. Like I said, I'm not gonna speak on all of that. Julia Roberts' character was on an episode of Friends, so she was talking to her as if Friends never happened, right? But she said it's as if that was a time of that never existed. Because Friends, how many people do you know in 2023 going into 2024 that have big groups of friends that are always together with each other? That was a normal thing 10, 15, 20, 25 years ago. Couples being friends with each other. You know, there's a three guys, 4 girls in a group. We've been friends since college. We hang out on the weekends. We go get drinks. Some of us have dated maybe or attempted it, never worked, but we're better at friends. We live in a time now where people aren't friendly. We're living in a time now where, again, isolation. We were speaking on this a few weeks ago. You could look this up in your own spit time. Isolation is likened unto smoking 15 cigarettes a day. This is a study. People are isolated in ways today that is killing them, actually. So that old world of having a group of friends that you can lean on, I'll be there for you. Remember the guy went to go see Kevin Bacon's character, and he told him that was the old world. Yeah, we had drinks before, and we you know, I did work for you and I made money off from you, and we did this together, we did that. But when all of that breaks down, it's you and me. Unless we got an agreement today to say that this is what we're going through today in the times to be, there's not going to be anyone there for you. Right? So I'm going to read this again, and like I said, I'm going to close up here. This is the lyrics to Friends, I'll Be There For You by the Rembrandts. So no one told you your life was going to be this way. Your job's a joke. Now think about it. Were people complaining about their jobs being jokes in the 90s like that? People really weren't complaining. Like, you had economical issues in the world, of course, but in this grand scheme of today, in this climate of the world right now, everybody's, man, these jobs are a joke, man. They ain't paying nothing. They want all this, they want all that. You're broke. Are we all not broke? And your love's life's a DOA. Look at TikTok. Does it look like love is out here? Does the black woman does everything she can to show that she hates black men, and black men do this very same. And it's not just our people, white men, white women. There's no love out here. The scriptures say, for the love of many shall wax cold. It's cold out here. All right. It's like you're stuck in second gear. Well, it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year. But I'll be there for you. That's the old world. All right. So I just wanted to touch on that. You know, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other things. Oh, I can't forget the Ring of Fire eclipse that was in the movie. They showed you an eclipse occurred during the during this whole chaotic situation in the movie. There's a lot of things. So like I said, I just wanted to touch on some of the things spiritual that I saw that I thought like kind of was lost in the sauce of just watching a movie from an entertainment purpose side of things. But like I said, you know, it's just a movie. But like I said, we know better than that. That movies aren't just simply entertainment. There's symbols and there's points that are, you know, can be gained from these. So, hey man, with that, I hope that this was edifying, informative, and I want to give all the glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto my apostles and others, great millstone. Peace and safety to all the sincere Akim out here. And shalom to everybody that's tuning in this morning. I hope you all have a beautiful day. And Lord willing, I'll be back later on with another lesson. Lord will. Shalom, everybody.